Now, the Gauteng ANC should announce who won the party's top 5 positions in the province in the next few hours. 90% of the delegates have already selected their preferred candidates. MECs Panyaza, Lesufi and Lebogang Maile are vying for the position of Gauteng Chair. Our reporter Mbali Thethani is live for us from Benoni. Mbali, good evening and thank you very much for coming through tonight here on In Focus. Is the voting completed and has counting started?
We're not even close, Thabo. I must tell you that I'm literally standing just outside the voting hall, and I must say that it is indeed an electric mood here as delegates continue to go in and cast their votes. And I must say that the number of people you see just outside this voting hall are indeed the delegates from the Ekurhuleni region. And of course, they are still saying that outstanding is still the voting delegates from Tshwane, so they are not even done yet, and you'd know that Tshwane is also one of the biggest regions for the ANC here in Gauteng. But just to bring in these two members of the ANC who also are vying on the same slate, one would say, a number of your delegates here, Mzwandile, are singing and saying Adiwele. And of course, this is something that is quite synonymous with you and the likes of Lebogang Maile. I understand your region is now expected to vote. If you can just tell us, how are you feeling ahead of some of your members and delegates going ahead now to go and vote in that top 5 officials?
Well, as a team that has campaigned vigorously for Comrade Maile and the collective, we've done everything possible we could do. It is now in the hands of the delegate, and all what I can say is that we will accept the outcome because we've satisfied ourselves with all the internal processes of the African National Congress. We remain hopeful that our campaign, which was more about to do with economic freedom in our lifetime, because abantu bathi babawela impilo emnandi, so bebayivala yonke iminyango. That is why we adopted this slogan to bring life to our campaign. A youthful campaign, as you know, that as we move towards 2024. One of the things that we need to do is to ensure that we are able to appeal and attract the younger voters in Gauteng in order for us, the African National Congress, to retain power in this particular province.
Mzwandile, you speak of a campaign that you conducted as some of the members who find themselves on the Adiwele slate. If you can just tell us what did that campaigning include? Because you would also know, speaking to a number of delegates, when it comes to conferences is all about numbers. And some of you have been negotiating right down to the wire to ensure that those on your side do indeed vote for you and vote for the leadership indeed that you want. What did you include when it comes to the campaigning, and how intricate was that for you as those who find yourselves on the Adiwele camp?
Look, in the ANC we persuade each other up to here in the voting lines in terms of our own ideas. We believe that what our campaign stands for is what has resonated with many voters who are here, who are determined. Initially we were being insulted that this thing is not in the lexicon of the African National Congress, but over time people have grown to accept that even during the height of apartheid, we used arts and culture to express ourselves in politics. So we continue with that trajectory, even ourselves as this generation. So we are confident that those that we have been talking to understand the essence of our campaign, which has been thoroughly canvassed in each and every delegate. I must say that this was a very intense campaign on our part, and we thank each and every person, young and old, who has believed in this particular campaign. And we say that we are not the brigade that will go to court if there's an outcome, whether favorable or not favorable to us, because those things, they destroy the essence of the African National Congress. I'm very disappointed some of the branches that attempted to stall the conference, but I'm happy that they could not succeed, including their handlers. I'm hoping that we represent the aspiration of our people, and we are not the product of the court.
So essentially what you are saying is that even though you might not win as the Adiwele camp, you will still accept the outcome.
We're winning. Adiwele will win. But you don't want, in the ANC we speak a humble language. It is in the hands of the delegate. But all of us, if you ask this other group, they are winning. If you ask us, we are winning. Until such time that the IEC moves in there, that's where you'll see the tension. For now, we are winning, and they are winning, and that's where we are.
All right. Of course, I'm also going to bring in now Lebogang Maile. You would know that he is indeed vying for the chairperson. It is Lebogang Maile versus Panyaza Lesufi for the Gauteng province. Lebogang, you seem very calm, collected. How are you feeling ahead of the voting, which is currently underway, and for those results which will be coming out in a couple of hours from now?
It's a privilege and an honor, and it's humbling to be nominated by many branches and members of the ANC. We are many in the ANC. Leadership is not a status, it's a responsibility bestowed to those amongst us who are prepared to serve and who are committed to ensure that we achieve the goals of our national democratic revolution.
Campaigning, Mzwandile Masina has just told us here, it was quite intricate, it was quite intense. I'm sure it had a major effect on you. How has that affected you, especially going into this conference?
We had to execute our responsibilities in government, and there's nothing new, because even when there is no conference, we must execute our responsibilities in the African National Congress, because the ANC exists to solve the problems of our people. So I wouldn't say there was an extra load, but it is a different period, of course, because you have to engage with the structures, engage with individuals, persuade each other, and be prepared to be persuaded as well.
And looking into that persuasion, do you think that the numbers are looking good and they are indeed on your side?
The branches, the fact that one qualified, it means a lot, because to qualify you need to have about 93 branches. There's about 430 branches that are in good standing, that passed the audit, and that are participating in this conference. So 93 is not a small number, and that's why I'm saying it means a lot. It's humbling, and for me that's enough. It's not about being elected.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, that is Lebogang Maile, there, one of the members of the Gauteng in the ANC. Of course, we know that the PEC has since been disbanded, so the ground has been leveled out. Of course, we're now seeing that these delegates will be continuing to vote here behind me. Of course, Thabo. Of course, hearing about how that campaign was quite grueling, but they are indeed confident, saying that they will accept the outcome and they will not be like other members of the ANC who took the party to court.